I'm Zeb Soanes, I'm a newsreader on Radio 4, and I've worked for the BBC for 25 of its 100 years.
From level.
I started in BBC local radio at Radio Norfolk.
The talk of the county.
And I learnt on the job. So I learnt how a newsroom works. I started reading the travel and then started reading the news. And a job was advertised for a television announcer on BBC One, BBC Two, and then got the trainee job. So that's what brought me down to working for the BBC in London. And it was the most exciting place to work. Television Centre was a factory for broadcasting. I'd walk past the backs of all the studios and see the set of Parkinson, sit in Parkinson's chair, run up the staircase from Absolutely Fabulous. It was the most exciting place to be. One of the jobs as a television announcer was to give the national lottery results on a Saturday night, and later in the evening we would give you a recap. So there would be a still slide with all of the numbers on it, and then the announcer would read those numbers. But a television announcer reads to a very specific time. So you have your director counting down in your ear. The lotto numbers are 1, 3, 4, 16, 17, 27, and the bonus ball is 7. It was the hardest kind of patting head, rubbing your stomach thing to do. But it means now, whenever I'm doing any television presenting and you have a gallery in your ear, it never throws me. The challenging times when you're an announcer, and is really what we're there for, is when things go wrong. And one of the biggest examples was on the day of the London bombings, and I was in the continuity studio, and the 6 o'clock news had been extended to an hour because of the events. The newsreader live on air, who happened to be Charlotte Green that night, 10 minutes into this hour-long special extended news, said, "And now we hand you back to Radio 4 continuity," which was me.
Well, tonight there will be a few changes to our schedule due to today's news.
The schedule had been thrown out of the window. The only thing that we knew was being broadcast that night was the Archers, because nothing stops for the Archers. So there was nothing I could tell the listener that was coming up that evening. So I just launched a music programme and started playing CDs and filling.
We hope to bring you some programmes in just a moment. In the meantime, here's a little music.
So I filled for about 12 minutes, which felt like 12 hours. Those are the times where you really kind of earn your keep, I suppose. And the great skill is being calm under pressure. The classic analogy is being a swan, and you're gliding along the top of the water and the feet are paddling like mad underneath. And I was doing a lot of paddling that night. It can be quite a solitary job. You're very often sitting in a self-operated studio, operating all of your clips, your inserts in the news, doing your own timing. But for me, having had a theatrical background, to actually get out in front of a live audience is fab. And I get to do that with the news quiz on Radio 4 in the radio theatre. And for me, being on the panel, and I'm reading the cuttings and also kind of keeping a check on the timing for the presenter, it's so much fun. And occasionally you get picked on, and they pick on you because they know as a newsreader you have to be completely impartial, so they have great fun trying to get a rise out of you.
This is BBC 4. Good evening and welcome to the launch of Britain's newest channel.
I launched BBC 4, so I was the first announcer to welcome people to BBC 4. And then I moved to Radio 4. Radio is all about the voice. It's all about sculpting air with sound. On television, you have the fade to black, but on radio, you have silence, and it's learning the grammar and the gear changes for that. So the skill of reading a half-hour news bulletin is taking the listener imperceptibly from a story about genocide or war to a lottery winner who found the ticket down the back of their car seat or something, and making those journeys feel the most natural trajectory possible. This is BBC Radio 4. And now it's time for the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency. There are warnings of gales in Trafalgar and Fitzroy. The general synopsis at midday. High southeast Shannon 1026, expected Irish Sea 1027 by midday tomorrow. I'd always listened to Radio 4, loved Radio 4, grown up listening to the shipping forecast. My grandmother's family were all fishermen, so when I came to Radio 4 and read the shipping forecast for the first time, my right leg was trembling under the desk, because there's not a lot of what we do that is life or death information, and the shipping forecast is.
Well, that brings us to the end of the shipping forecast. Now for a look at the general weather picture for right across the United Kingdom. Here's Liam Dutton.
Until next time, from me, Zeb Soanes, have a very peaceful night. Good night.